Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku. Deku, he received a distress call, and he went to go respond to it. After that happened, we had the Superior Iron Man, who, after making some Pym particles, trapped the West Coast Avengers in the Quantum Realm. And this was not good. They survived there for 3 months. While Deku in the outside world, he battled the Superior Iron Man, and after killing him with the God Killer armor, he brought them back to the city. He pulled them out of the Quantum Realm and also freed the Earth's heroes. And this has a number of events that correspond afterwards. Izuku, when he got back to the tower, he felt terrible. He wasn't there for Storm or Wanda. He tried to talk to both of them. Storm wants some time away from the tower. And there's also the fact that everybody on his team want to leave the building. Robert Reynolds definitely tried to step up. He's taken a bit more of a role as a sentry. Meanwhile, everybody else, they were trying to gain their own bearing. And Wanda, she made a few things quite clear. Go see Crystal. Go see his other child. There's a lot going on. And while she does want to get out of the tower herself and, go see her father, introduce him to the grandkids, it's gonna be a bit strange. And Deku, he went to go see Crystal. Crystal was happy the moment he heard danger was gonna come to their doorstep. He came running. Fact of the matter is, he also killed Tony Stark, a man he's compared himself to for almost the last decade of his life. I mean, Jesus. He did that to protect his children. And, well, Deku, he brought a bottle and made her a priority. He brought a very expensive alcohol. And Crystal, she missed Izuku. Missed the way things were, missed the way their lives were before Ultron. And right now, she just wanted a bit more of that. She didn't care. Hey, she might regret it tomorrow or a week from now. But she just wanted her husband back. And the two, they had a night together. Definitely one to remember. And we do currently have the next morning, where Crystal, she currently does go sit up in bed. Her going to turn her head and find out that she's alone. And this, it does make her somewhat question the night before. The only evidence that she may have had a guest being the 2 glasses on the nightstand, along with an empty bottle of alcohol. Before Deku takes him walking back into the room, her turning as if to walk over and sit down, holding up a glass, talking about it. Sorry. He thought he wouldn't disturb her. Her just won't smile. Him sitting down on the bed and handing her a cup of coffee. Before he would have turned back and grabbed his. Her sitting up and going to take a sip. Izuku going to turn. So, about last night. Can you just not? Right. Right. Listen, I'd be willing to stay if you want me. That'd be nice, but don't you have a team to get back to? Yeah, I know. I'm sure Carol can lead them. She's, Captain Marvel. I read the news, Izuku. Right, right. I'm sure she can handle it. Her or Spidey. I'm sure. Though, what about you? After yesterday, and, well, what you told me last night. Right. I don't know. Maybe I can't stay tonight, but Well, I can stay the night, but I'll have to leave later. Busy day. I talk to the hero, see what's going on. You know, uh, I can live with that. Though, hers will get a turn. Right now, her pulling up the drawer and grabbing Izuku's watch. Her turning back to Deku as he would his own express. He would like her to come to the tower, though. Hmm? What for? To meet them. You know, I know it's a bit of a sudden thing. You always talked about wanting to live on Earth, live away from Attilan, meet people. I know it would be a bit more dangerous, but the tower has good defenses. My armors are there, and, well, Miss Costa's always watching, so, you know, you want me to meet them. Aurora, Wanda, Polaris, and your ex? I mean, Polaris is in Genosha. Sasha's in New York. Me and her don't talk a lot, but I do still keep in contact with her regularly. I try to. Polaris is another story. She's a bit rough around the edges, but I can't blame her. I guess it's understandable. Yeah, she's a bit like her dad. They don't fully, I think, trust me. I don't blame them either. Her holding up the watch. And Deku, here's a turn. Her expressing. If he wants to leave now, he could have just said so. She won't hold him. If he's got to get back to business, then get back to business. But come home later? I can certainly try. Him bringing his hand up and lowering it onto the bed, telling her. But he would want to enjoy the moment a bit more. You know. Plus, I mean, if he does go out there, then he's got a lot to deal with. Right, right. I get it. You have to explain it, and they might not even believe you. They'll probably believe me, but they want to prove my methods. You couldn't have stopped him. Not without taking him out. That wasn't Tony Stark Izuku. Whoever that was, wasn't the man you met. The man you looked up to. I keep trying to tell myself that, but it's hard to. Hey, him turning his head, looking okay at her. Her expressing. It wasn't him. He was the good guy. His team are safe. One life or many. Ones he also had a personal stake in. Does she have to say any more? No. You're right. Sorry. I just. You're trying to rationalize it to yourself. You're very rational. But this is something irrational, Izuku. Something very much out of your own wheelhouse. Right. Thank you. Deku going to turn. Him grabbing the watch and gonna put it directly onto his wrist. Currently him staring at it before pressing the button. Because he does have a message on standby. And currently whenever does it a power back on, there is where Miss Costa will go to express. Izuku currently has multiple messages currently pending. And Deku tells her which ones are important. All three are considered high priority. Play. Message 1. Izuku, we need to talk about a few things. Listen, it's Cap. A few of us are looking into a situation. It's very confusing. Along with that, have you had any contact with Reed Richards? It's gonna be hard to explain, but Tony wasn't the only evil counterpart running around. If you run into Reed, or he comes to contact you, or reaches out to you and he's not with one of the Avengers, it's not him. It's somebody else. He is Mr. Fantastic, yes, but we don't know if he's an evil counterpart. Uh, a whole thing is going on. Just reach out and contact us. Deku annoyed. Him press the next button and keeping that in mind. So, Evil Reed Richards. Message 2. Currently Deku having a video pop up from his wrist. In it does mean a play. Currently Reed Richards staying there with some of the other Avengers. Him going to express. If he's seeing this right now, then he needs to understand. He's looked into a lot more. There's a problem. The man he's been talking to possibly for the last 2 years is somebody who took over his life. If he's met him before or has been in contact with him, then he knows the exact problem. He was stuck in the negative zone for a bit of time. And right now, they need to be on high alert. This man is just as intelligent as him. And even Susan couldn't tell when she returned that he was different. It means a bit. The man was crazier, and he was a lot worse. He's willing to do anything to get the stones. So Izuku, he needs to know if he does have that reality stone to keep it safe. Otherwise, things will definitely get a lot worse. If the man can collect them, he will do something to reality, something they have yet to discover the nature of. And Deku, he is a bit more annoyed. The last match is going to play, and currently it comes from Carol Danvers. As right now, Deku doesn't hear it. Her expressing, Izuku needs to come back to the West Coast Avengers. There's a bit of a situation going on. She won't, well, sugarcoat it, but the government have received the information about his fight with Superior Iron Man. And they're trying to charge him with murder. They want to show that the law is still applicable to heroes. And with the fact that the evidence is so crystal clear, it means a lot. She believes that the Maker is trying to occupy his time, and that right now, he wants Izuku distracted. So, they need to discover what's going on. If the stone is safe, then let her know. Do not tell her the origin of it, in case the man can hack into or trace his broadcast. They're dealing with somebody as intelligent as Reed. So, whenever he can, get into contact with her. Send a message back or come back to the tower. The government wants him to answer for a lot of things as well. And Izuku, he is a bit annoyed. Currently, him going to stand up and turn. Him drinking the rest of his coffee down and going to sit it on the dresser. Telling Crystal, well, it looks like he's going to be busy. Of course he would record it. It makes sense. Why else would he draw you out? You said that Tony, he activated self-destruct. So that means he probably cut off the footage. Okay. Will you be okay? I might. Though it does make sense. The Avengers will need my technology. And with the fact that they might... No, I can activate that protocol. Okay. I'll need to transport my suits into orbit if I need to. The government... No. Spidey might know something? Maybe. I'll look into this a bit more. I've got a situation. I can turn over the evidence I do have and get my name cleared. No, but Reed would definitely try and stretch this into a court case. Shit. This going through Izuku's mind. And right now, he would go to leave. Him going to walk out and kiss his daughter goodbye. For he's going to fly back down to Earth into the tower. And whenever he does arrive, you do actually have where some people here, they have not been happy. There are people calling for justice for Tony Stark. And the fact that Superior was murdered by the invincible Iron Man. It's not right. A hero killed a hero. And they got off scot-free. The law applies to everybody. And the government, they are trying to show that being the case. However, Deku's own tower defenses, they have kept the government well out of that tower. I mean, you name it. Not even S.H.I.E.L.D. can get to those doors. And Deku, that's just the way he likes it. Now, there currently is where something does come flying down from space. People watching as the invincible Iron Man does come flying down and landing on something above the building. Some of them raging out and booing him. And currently Miss Costa will go to express that Mr. Izuku, or Izuku, currently needs to deal with the people outside. Would she like him to activate deterrence? No. They're not threats. They're not rioting. Activating deterrence will make them riot, make them more violent. For now, leave them alone. Though, if you can, begin the process of taking the armors to space. Actually, send them to Attilan. The armory there should have enough room. If it doesn't, then lockdown protocols are activated. Send them to the orbital spot. Currently deploying armors needed to Mark 6 station. Good. Deku walking into the elevator. Currently, him going down to the lab and going to someone sit down. Him going to talk to Miss Costa, asking her to recover footage from the incident with Tony Stark and contact Nick Fury. And currently, Miss Costa does begin to do so. Deku having the line open as Fury does go to express. He's quite the popular man today. Fact is, somebody from high above gave him an order to bring him in. So, what's he gonna do? Something about this doesn't seem right. And Izuku will go to express. Reed Richards was a fake. The real one got out of the negative zone with the rest of the heroes. And right now, he's setting him up to keep him busy. He's trying to find the reality stone. Really now. And you know where it is? Let's keep that off the record, Fury. For right now, tell me what we're dealing with. Right, kid. Listen. They want to show that rules apply. If you don't come in, there will be a manhunt for you. Your assets will be seized, your government will try to take you in. And your company, they might be shut down for the time being. They can't do that. It's a private corporation. Yes, but given the special circumstances, Mr. Midoriya, you understand. Understand what? I own all the shares of that company. I have nothing to hide. If you have nothing to hide, then you should comply. We can't stop this. Either you lose your reputation with the public and people start to ask questions, or you face the music. Testify. Fact is, kid, take some time to think about it. Though, if you're going to turn yourself in, I suggest doing so within the next day. Otherwise, well, I might have my orders. You can defy orders. I can, yes. But I really can't. Fury, you're not a lapdog. I'm well aware of that, though I've done worse things. Trust me on that, kid. I'm well aware, Mr. Fury. I've seen S.H.I.E.L.D. files. I'm gonna pretend like you didn't just say that. I'd recommend it. Trust me. If I wanted to be a threat, I would be. Though, I'm not the only person who has dirt on some people in high places. I'm assuming Reed did this to certain people, poking and prodding the right people who are corrupt. Maybe, kid, maybe. Then again, you can never know. Right. Currently, Deku hanging up and beginning to sort through a lot of information. And we do currently have about 3 hours later, where Deku, he has made some phone calls. He has talked to a lot of people. And currently at Quinjet, it does go to land outside of the West Coast Avengers Tower. And Captain America does some stepping off. Currently, him with a shield on his back and looking out. Some people waving to Captain America and others trying to boo him, thinking he might be on Izuku's side. And there actually is Izuku, who does some stepping out of his tower and, quote unquote, not in his suit. And people, they do just stare on, as Deku walks out to the public booing him. Him stepping forward to Steve, as Steve able to bring his hands out from behind his back. Currently him grabbing a pair of handcuffs and holding them up. Him showing it off to the crowd for cuffing Izuku in front of everybody. And Deku, he is then walked onto the jet. Currently him being brought into S.H.I.E.L.D. custody as the crowd, they watched on. And it does become a bit of a headline. Iron Man arrested. Hero on hero violence. And this, it is rather intriguing. People are also calling for Izuku to be held accountable for the Century Massacre. The massacre of millions of mutants. Some people, they don't give a shit. It was fucking mutants. Who the hell cared, right? Others, they are more understanding. What happened in Genosha should not have happened. And there are people who are a part of anti-mutant communities who don't care that it happened. Hell, the only bad part about it is Izuku didn't kill them all. In this, it definitely is a bit more of a chatter point. There are people trying to make claims that Izuku, he's an extremist. Though some of these points are being argued at the moment. Now, whenever Izuku is brought into S.H.I.E.L.D. custody, this does get brought up as a priority. And there actually is where Deku, he's detained for a day. Currently him sitting in his cell with a lot going through his head. And S.H.I.E.L.D., they are trying to just keep Izuku contained while they figure things out. While the government try and get their shit together and find out how to approach this. Now, with that being said, Deku, he already had his armors evacuated from the planet. And when the tower is investigated and they do try to seize assets, they don't get anything. Nothing important at the very least. And right now, we do actually have the next day. Deku, he was read his rights and he got a lawyer. A really good lawyer. As we do cut to him currently sitting there. Him going to walk into the courtroom as Deku, he was going to turn his head. Seeing a man go to set down a briefcase and then go somewhat turn, bringing his hand up to Izuku and expressing, "It's nice to see him again, Mr. Midoriya. Matthew Murdoch." Deku shake the man's hand, expressing, "Right. Nice to see him here." He takes it the flight wasn't too bad? It wasn't, though I've seen better sights. Deku staring at the man. Aware that Matt, he's a bit of a jokester. Though, right now he needs him to be serious. And the man, he does express, turning to the judges, about what's going on. This is a very big case, and the Maker, he loves the distraction. Everything is going according to plan. The only problem is trying to get Izuku convicted. If he's correct, Izuku, he'll have some evidence showing his own innocence. But at the same time, he's already trying to take the proper precautions. Made sure that everybody is aware of what's going on. The boy is insane. The boy's lost his mind and is as nutty as squirrel shit. He murdered Iron Man in cold blood. He made sure to do it with his bare hands. He killed millions of mutants. He builds weapons of mass destruction and calls them suits of armor. He's got an entire place out in space just dedicated to building these giant robots that could, if they wanted to, wipe out humanity with no second thought. This is how the Maker wants Izuku to be perceived. And we do currently have Deku, who does stand there as a judge, will go to get the court into order. And some heroes, they are here. Meanwhile, others are currently trying to track down who they can, what they can. And somebody, they do keep an eye on the Infinity Stones, making sure they're in the safest possible place they can be. And with that being said, there is the judge would order Izuku to rise. Him gonna stand as he does a turn to Matthew Murdock, the man expressing about how he'd like to say one thing before they do continue. The fact is, the court is very biased, and he will say they're biased for one pure reason: objection. Him on his own turn. And there is the person trying to put this case against Izuku, a lawyer for the government. And right now, Meguro Express, just because the man is a superhero does not mean people will be showing favoritism towards him. And Meguro Express, no, but it will play some part. There also is the fact of the matter that Izuku Midoriya is the man who murdered the mad tyrant Thanos, the one who snapped half of reality out of existence. He killed the Mad Titan and prevented him from snapping again. He made sure nobody else can come to harm once heroes were brought back. He put the blood in his hands to save people. Fact of the matter is, from what he understands, the information given to him by heroes, Thanos has conquered worlds, killed countless. He's murdered the population of Earth multiple times over in his conquest of the universe. So, after obliterating half of infinite life, can they really say the death of this man is bad? If Izuku killed Thanos, he must have had good reason to kill Tony Stark. He, yes, did commit the crime. However, he did so because of what potentially could have happened. The court is biased because half of these people here could have been wiped from reality, and they're only standing here because the Mad Titan was killed again. So, what do they have to say about that? Himgris won't turn to the judge, asking the man exactly who he lost during the blip. And the judge, he does his own stare at Matthew Murdock, him turning his head to the few other people in the room who are a part of this council. Now, some of the people here, they do begin to murmur to themselves. Murmur to themselves. Jesus, I almost bit my tongue. And currently, there is Deku, who does sit there and think about a few things. Though, right now, something is brought up. A witness being called to the stand, as we do actually have where a military, let's just say officer, is brought up. And they are asked a few questions. They ask about the technology Mr. Midoriya has given to the government. He's not given any. He hasn't handed over anything and he has no military contracts. Is this true? It is. However, the man goes on turn, standing up expressing he would like to give the man a medal for one simple action. The actions he's taken against Genosha, a foreign nation that has shown outright hostility towards humanity, and a majority of attacks brought on by that nation and people involved. Now, Matthew does his own stand up, him telling the man that he would like that to be Deku goes on turn, bring his hand up and showing off electricity. Everybody going to turn their heads a bit more surprised as Deku tells the man to stop talking. Currently, the judges staring at Izuku, him expressing to them, he'd like to make one thing clear right now. What happened in Genosha was not on his head. He built those things, but things are simple. Those were meant to defend the entire planet, the entirety of the planet. Let him make that clear. Everybody heard those words right. No nation has his allegiance. He made them to be defenders, not killers. They're tools to protect people. Whenever he had his body taken over by Ultron, that is whenever this attack occurred. People, they lost their lives. And currently somebody slamming down their gavel, expressing to Mr. Midoriya to sit down and stop. Otherwise, they will hold him in contempt for the court. Now, Deku, he has his own sit down. The person at the stand going his own smile. Because right now, they struck a nerve. They wanted Izuku to appear anti-mutant, but clearly, that may not be the case. And right now, there is where Matt, he does express. He has a number of witnesses he'd like to call. However, he would like to call one at the current moment related to this incident. Mr. Midoriya's outburst. I will allow this. Your witness? Matthew goes on turn, expressing. He'd like to call Magneto to the stand. Now, some people are confused. And Deku, he would not turn his own head. His suit telling him about what's going on. And the doors, they do to open. As the man is come floating into the room. Somebody expressing about what's happening. Them jumping up and going to pull their weapon. And the man would bring his hand up and rip the weapons out of the air. Currently, him going to crush them all as they're going to fall back to the ground. And he would go to express. He is Magneto. He has come here because he was requested to by his daughter. He is willing to testify on behalf of Mr. Midoriya. Fact of the matter is, there's a lot of things he'd like to say, especially here and now. Him turning his head to Izuku. And Deku, he does stare Magneto straight in the face. Him turning his head back forwards to the judges, as it does not flow forwards. And there currently is where some of the heroes, they do stand here as well. Currently, Magneto flying towards the front of the courtroom. People staring on as he makes himself spin around and express. He may ask his questions. Okay. Mr. Magneto? Maximus. Maximus. Alright then. Can I get your last name for the record? That is all you get. Okay, okay. No need to be hostile. I am not being hostile. Fact of the matter is, if I wanted to be hostile, I would annihilate your species. I would show contempt. I would see you as nothing more than a bug under my boot to step on. Is that not how your species has perceived mine? Let me tell you. You wish for peace. You preach it, yet you say nothing about it. You don't practice it. The government of your nation has done a lot of things for a lot of people. Yet for mine, they put them in cages. And they have made the Sentinel program. Objection. Currently the judge bringing their gavel up. And Magneto will going to turn his head staring at them. The judge about to slip it down before going to hesitate. Him expressing. Right now, he's come here for a number of reasons. The United States government, they have done a number of things and made a number of mistakes. They built the Sentinel program to try and take in mutants who were violent. But what do they define violence as? What about self-defense? Currently Magnus bringing his hand up and into his suit. Some of the people from the government getting on guard as they're going to pull out a book, expressing. Fact of the matter is, Mr. Midoriya is anything but an extremist. He is a futurist. He does not see inhuman, human, or mutant. In fact, they make claims of their species being worse than humanity. But humanity still has problems such as racism. Mutants have one race. That is it. They only see one. United, they are. They have more boundaries than just what they think. They do not understand at all. He's made revolutionary technological developments they could only dream of. And mutants, as they quote say, hold humanity back. But what they have discovered and found would push humanity light years ahead into the future. If he wanted to, he could hand over technology that could give them a galactic empire. Or, I'm sorry, a galactic civilization. Boost them into the golden age of technology for their species. As revolutionary as the first man to discover fire. Now, Magneto was going to bring his book out. However, he does not do this because of the number of mutants their people have murdered. This book contains a list of every mutant named, killed by humans before the Sentinel program. He'd like to admit it as evidence. Mr. Midoriya has come to aid their nation after its devastation. And fact is, he'd like to make one more thing clear. Him turning his head to Deku. And Deku has a stare at Magneto. Him turning his head and looking at Wanda. Him turning his head to look at Polaris as well. And Polaris does sit there holding her nephew. Her with a bit of a smile on her own face. Aminu's expression, it just won't soften. Deku nodding his head to the man. He will express, Izuku Midoriya cannot be anti-mutant, for that would mean he hates his own children. And some of the people in the room, they may have just misheard that. The judge expressing to the man, if he can please repeat the previous statement. And Magneto would make things quite clear. Mr. Midoriya has helped the mutants. He also has 4 children who may possess mutant genes. 3 of the women he has laid claim to, as for a cruel way of saying it, are currently with child. And 3 of those children have already been born. Fact of the matter is, hammering his hand up. His daughter Polaris sits there. That man is the father of her child. Along with that, next to her is his other daughter, who is also the mother of his children. In the courtroom, they do also go to lay eyes on Wanda and Dana. Or I'm sorry, Laura. Lorna? Is her name Lorna? Yeah, Lorna Dane. Okay, that's why I got confused. Dinah, no, that's DC. Oh my god, my thoughts are somewhere else. Now, currently Deku, he does go to express. He'd like them to call another witness as well. Someone going to turn. And they do go to express that will be all from Magneto. And currently there actually is Matthew Murdock, who does go to talk about it. he'd like to call a number of people to the stand. However, he believes his best defense might as well be someone they're all, let's just say, familiar with. He'd like to call Johnny Storm to the stand. And currently the man, he would just stand up. Him adjusting the tie he has on his neck a bit before stepping over and going to sit down, talking about it. Okay, so he's not used to wearing a suit, but his sister said he should wear one? Okay. Mr. Storm. Johnny's fine. Mr. Storm. Exactly how do you know Mr. Midoriya? He's Iron Man. Correct, but how else? He's the leader of the West Coast Avengers. He offered me a spot on the team. Okay. And how would you say Mr. Midoriya is as a person, if not even as a leader? Uh, I'd say he's a pretty good leader. I mean, he gives us money, he pays the bills, and at the same time, he also does provide for us. So that's pretty good. I'm sorry, he pays you to be a hero. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm a full-time hero, and as far as I'm aware, it's hard to be, you know, incognito, have a secret identity, and have a job and try to save the world. I mean, hell, we've had to deal with a number of things in the last few weeks. And this whole court case or kangaroo court or whatever the hell's going on here isn't really helping. I mean, I've sort of been trapped in a prison in an alternate universe for a while. Most of us have. Now, the judges are highly confused. Someone slamming down their gavel and going to express order, order, order. Mr. Storm, can you please explain what he's talking about? Johnny trying to express. It's highly technical, but sure, he can try. Him trying to describe Prison 42. A prison so hard to escape, it is practically inescapable. There have been incidents, yes, but those incidents don't last too long, especially because the consequences are nearly immediate. Superior had them all trapped in this prison, and Izuku's the one who got them out. So, hey, not only is he a good leader, he's reliable. That's what he will say. If the guy wanted to do something to take over the world, he would. Superior, yeah, that guy was trying to take over the world. I mean, shit, look at what happened in New York. What was it? Extremists? Who else want turn? Him point blank asking Izuku. Tony called it extremists, right? That stupid ass app he made? And Deku nods his head. Everybody looking at the man. And currently Deku does go to express. Okay, so there's that. Johnny being taken from the stand. And the judge, they are a bit annoyed. Currently, the other lawyer trying to think about what to do. They have a few ideas as to who they can call to the stand. Who they can bring here. Okay. So, that's it. Someone go to express. Turning. They'd like to call Deadpool to the stand, please. Some people turning their heads. And Deku, his face does get a somewhat drop. And we do actually have Deadpool, who would go to stand up and express, oh, thank God, he's been quiet long enough. Everyone turning their heads. And we do currently have Spidey, who does try to keep his head down and not be seen by Wade. Now, Deku, he does want to sit there, a bit more worried about what Wade might do and what he might say. And currently, Wade Wilson would go to take the stand. Him gonna someone express. You know, he didn't expect this entire episode to turn into the type of bullshit it did, but honestly, he's just happy to be here. DP hasn't been in the story enough. Um, okay, Deadpool, what is your name for the court? Dope ass Prince. No, your actual name. Oh, Wade Wilson. Why? Okay, Mr. Wilson. Deadpool's fine. Mr. Wilson, could you please tell the courtroom who you are? I'm Deadpool. I mean, need I say more? Mr. Wilson, no one exactly knows who you are, but please tell us a bit about yourself. Oh, that's simple. I'm Deadpool. I try to be a hero. I've worked with the X-Men, the Avengers, the West Coast Avengers. I'm currently working with that guy, Mr. Midoriya, and I mean, he's paying me, I guess. I wouldn't call him a sugar daddy, not a relationship like that, but he's definitely got some baby mamas on him. Yes, Mr. Wilson. The court's already been made well aware of this. Hmm, yeah, they have been. Though they only know about the three mutants, they don't know about his first wife or the fact that he did impregnate his crazy ex. Deku bring his hand up. Because Wade, he's still talking. Currently, the man would just want to ask if Mr. Wilson can explain that last one. Hmm? Oh, right. That's a whole other thing. Okay, so for simplicity's sake, he'll say this. Mr. Wilson, what? How? Oh, sorry. Just, I was gonna get into a good story. Uh, can I keep this? No, Mr. Wilson. Is that alcohol? Yes. No. Does that matter? Mr. Wilson, alcohol is not permitted in the courtroom. Okay, fuck, fine. Listen, uh, where was I again? You talked about the crazy ex. Right. Okay. So whenever he was first starting out as Iron Man, he met Sasha Hammer. They were mutuals in a course or something, class, whatever. Whenever he was turned into a human and Terragenesis was the thing, he found out she was Sasha Hammer and she was the granddaughter of Justin Hammer, Tony Stark's former business rival. And sorry, I can't say that in Arch Enemy with a straight face. That fucker was not a good guy. Mr. Wilson, professionality, please. Sure. Anyways, like I was saying, Sasha Hammer is the granddaughter of Justin Hammer. Justin Hammer, blah blah blah, tries to be a rival, crazy sociopath who tries to have a dick measuring contest but comes up short. Sasha Hammer, a little bit like her grandfather, I guess, but she got a bit obsessed. Though, kid definitely learned a lesson, though Ultron ignored it. Uh-huh. So, you're saying that Sasha Hammer and Mr. Midori have a relationship? Hmm. Ask him about that. Now, the man could at least ask another question. If Mr. Wilson can specify his line of work, he said he's currently working as a superhero. But from what he can tell, he's carrying guns, grenades, and knives. Hmm? What do you see grenades? Him bringing his hand out. Currently, him pulling one of them up and talking about it. Oh, this is not his emergency hot sauce. Now, Deku does stir on, and somebody would go to express. Mr. Wilson should not be on the stand. He's insane. Even more reason then. The lawyer going to turn, expressing. Mr. Wilson is currently under the employment of Mr. Midoriya. So, can Mr. Midoriya at least explain as to why that might be? why he decided to keep a dangerous individual so closely tied to superhero organization, one that is working and privately funded by him. And away we go to Express. Oh, that's simple. The mangoes won't turn, as Deadpool talks about it. The fact is, Mr. Wilson working as a mercenary could kill a lot of people if he wanted to. I mean, shit. Check this out. Deadpool bringing his hand down and pulling up a bazooka out of nowhere. Him holding it up as Deku, he just won't stand up. Currently, everybody with their eyes on Wade as they're actually his Cap, who would gonna tell Deadpool to stop, and Wade would go to sit down. Currently, him accidentally firing the rocket, and Deku would gonna bring his hand up. Currently, him showing off that he's wearing his armor as he would contain the blast in a force field. Currently, Deku lowering his shield and then going to stand there. Him turning back towards Wade as the guy, he does get someone just sit there. And everyone would turn staring at Deku, who currently will get someone just sit back down and have his visor morph off of his face, expressing, Wade? Sorry, I didn't do it. Wade, no more random weapons. Answer the man's questions and get off the stand. Please, just leave. You're gonna put people in danger. Fine. He hired me because I'm a mercenary and I can kill people. Whatever. Bastards fucking deserve it. Anyways, he hired me on to try and rehabilitate me. Come again? Yeah. He thinks he can undo my craziness, but I'm not crazy. I'm just, you know, aware. Aware of what? A lot of things. Dumbass. Mr. Wilson, that's very. No, just. Okay. Listen, if I explain it to you, you won't believe me. You'll think I'm crazy. Everyone does. Alright then, enough questions? Yes, Mr. Wilson. You're free to go. Currently, Deadpool jumping up, expressing. Right. Well then, he's gonna just. Deadpool popping away. And everyone, they do just don't stare on. As currently, I'm going to walk over and express about what he currently has brought to the courtroom. And Deku, he's a bit annoyed. Currently, Matthew Murdock thinking about a few things and going to play the same card this man just played, expressing about how he'd like to bring the Century up to the stand. And Deku, he does his own turn. Everyone watching the Golden Man fly forwards and go to sit down. Him expressing, his name is Robert Reynolds, and Mr. Midoriya is somebody who has done a lot for him. He will testify his innocence, and the fact that he was in the tower whenever Superior attacked it. The man trying to ask questions about this, to which Robert expresses that they were trapped in the tower for 3 months in the quantum realm. And the man's not sure how to even begin with that statement. Now, it's a very strange thing to hear. But Robert Reynolds, he makes the claim that Izuku, he was acting as somebody to help him overcome his past trauma. The fact of the matter is, he's had problems controlling his power before, and he wants to help rehabilitate him so he can be a proper hero. He stepped in and was there fighting Thanos with Izuku and Thor. And, in fact, if they do want to ask more questions, he suggests they at least try and bring people up who know the kid. I mean, he's known the guy for a while, but there are people who've known him for longer. He can't really say too much. Before he was a superhero, he used to be an addict, long before Izuku's time. Though, he hasn't tested stuff in a long time. Fact is, trying to learn and get a handle on these powers have been more difficult. And the man tried to at least push a little bit, asking Robert why it's been difficult. To which he does try to explain the void. And this, it does sound rather dangerous. A few people staring on. Before Robert, he will get to take his own seat. And the judges, they're not too sure what to do. I mean, Iron Man, interdimensional prisons, time travel? What was it considered time travel? Some sort of quantum realm? Tinyverse? Whatever. Okay, so they're dealing with interdimensional things, gods, and the fact that this guy is just a man. Okay. That does pose another question then. Currently, Daredevil, going to express. He would like to call Thor to the stand, please. And people, they're a bit confused. Currently, the man stepping forwards and going to take a seat, expressing about a lot. And currently, the judge does his own stare on. One of them staring at Thor and seeing his golden locks. Now, the lawyer does go to someone express about what they'd like to know from Thor, if he's going to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. To which he will go to express, he will. A warrior does not lie. And currently the lawyer should at least ask, if Thor has known Mr. Midoriya for a long time. Not very long, at least not compared to my standards. By human, potentially, yes. I've fought with him before. I've fought against him before. And that was certainly a joyous battle. I'm sorry, you fought him. Evenly? The person a bit more taken aback. Before he does his turn to Deku, a little bit more intimidated by this. Because if Deku can fight against the God of Thunder, and he's fought the Hulk as well, he's gotta be some pretty. His suit's gotta be. Yeah, okay, never mind. Then turning back to Thor, asking if he would please elaborate. To which he would explain. Izuku Midoriya is a powerful man. He's also done a lot, from murdering the Mad Titan to standing toe to toe with him in combat. He built a suit to do so, using some, power he gave him. He adapted it and did more than just study it. He made it into something to use against him. Honestly, he does not blame him. If he knew what he was going to do with it, he probably would have tried to give him some instruction. Maybe at least teach him a bit more about Asgardian magic. Deku cutting him off. Advanced science. And the man goes out turn, looking at Deku, who would just lower his hand. I'm going to turn back, asking if Mr. Midoriya has done this regularly. To which someone explain. Mr. Midoriya has fought a number of things. In fact, he's heard that he fought Fing Fang Foom in Genosha before. He has also been curious to fight the Beast. He's fought Thor. He's even gone toe-to-toe against the Hulk before. And from what he's also heard, he has taken on Captain Marvel. He's a very powerful human, because he does not let his own mind be his cage. In fact, he improves every day. He builds things. He's an inventor. He is a worthy adversary. He'd even dare say a brother in combat. And this, it does seem like very high praise from the God of Thunder. And right now the judges, they're trying to figure this all out. They're trying to ask questions about Mr. Stark and what happened with the quote-unquote capture of heroes. To which he would try to explain. That is a whole other story entirely. He would like to express that Mr. Stark caught many of the heroes off guard. He fought dirty, and he did not try to see it as a warrior's challenge. In fact, whenever he was taken down, he didn't expect Mr. Stark to do so. He had trust as a friend, though that may have been a mistake. And that he will not make again. I see. So you're saying if provoked, you'd be willing to fight Mr. Midoriya? Yes. Although I'd like to also take him to Asgard. Maybe see about him learning more. Meeting the warriors of Valhalla. Or, I'm sorry, the warriors of Asgard. I know one day I may see him in Valhalla yet. Uh-huh. Okay then. Uh, shit. Daredevil, standing up, talking about how Thor Odin's son, he doesn't have much to add to any of this. In fact, all he is talking about is the advanced technology Mr. Midoriya has created. This is not part of the current case at hand. The man is trying to provoke the court into seeing Mr. Midoriya as a threat, to which the judge would go to try and regain order in the court, him expressing about what's happening, and about how they must stay on track for the trial. This evidence is all very interesting, though it does also mean a bit. Um, hmm, this is a problem. Currently, him goes about turn. And right now, Deku, he does go to watch on, seeing the judges trying to debate a lot of things. I mean, if they try and put this up to a bit of a vote, then there's going to be a problem. He saved the courtroom already, and that does give him some leeway. Putting him behind bars is nearly impossible. And right now there actually is Crystal, who would go to step into the room and express about how Mr. Midoriya, he is under political protection from Attilan. And some people do just don't turn their heads, looking over at Izuku, and then towards his quote-unquote wife. And Crystal would walk into the room. Her right now with Black Bolt and Medusa. And this does seem to be rather odd. Deku turning and watching as Crystal just come walking over. Her coming to the front of the room and expressing to the people here. Mr. Midoriya is her husband. He is under political protection of the Attilan royal family. And with that, he has diplomatic immunity. So, whatever happened needs to be plain and simple and seen as well. Her turning to Izuku, asking if he can hand over the evidence he does have. And Deku tries to tell her about a few problems he's encountered with that. Since some of his own data, it was compromised. Now, Deku, he would at least get a turn, seeing the judges debating a few things and trying to just figure this all out. Okay, so this is really bad. From the evidence they do have, Mr. Midoriya was provoked. He even has had messages claiming he was called out by Iron Man. But at the same time, the fight was lethal. All the evidence, everything else, this case is just so random, odd. It's everywhere. Definitely way above their pay grade. Though from everything Mr. Midoriya has said, if it's all true, then currently the judges going to express about what's happening. After taking a short recess, they will vote on whether Mr. Midoriya can be found innocent or guilty. And Deku, he does understand. Currently the judges walking out of the room. And Izuku, he does go to sit there. Him turning his head and bringing his hands up. Signing to Black Bolt, asking him about what the hell's going on. The man expressing, bringing his own hands back up. About how he's working on a few things. Crystal asked him to be here. Though, he also wanted to take this chance to visit Medusa. See her again. I'm going to turn and bring his hands up to her. her pulling him into a hug as the man he does to be careful. Now, with that, we do actually have Crystal, who does try to explain a lot. Even if the judges do want to put things up to a vote, she wants to talk to them about a few things first. How he has helped the world. She wants to tell them about his technological advancements and about what he's been doing on Attilan. They may not be able to go there and see it for themselves, but they will definitely know. They will all know. And Deku, he is worried about that. Attilan is centuries ahead of the world. If they went there and saw it, they would be mad and angry about a lot. So yeah, there's definitely that. And the judges, they do come back into the room. Them wanting to vote on a lot, but for somebody, they are called to the stand. The person expressing about the witness they want to call now. Because it's somebody else who could be highly, let's just say, influential in this field. Them calling King T'Challa to the stand. And the man, he will just not sit down. Him annoyed, but at the same time intrigued. He was going over the numbers in his own head. And if they were going to vote on it, Izuku more than likely would have been found innocent. And currently T'Challa, he's somebody here who can provide the best case. He's the ruler of his own nation. He is an outside observer to the US and Attilan. Wakanda has been isolated for a number of years. And right now, he is the closest thing to neutral they have. His influence and vote, what he says, could change us all. And Deku does stare at the man. As someone, they're going to ask the question. If Mr. T'Challa, he has met Izuku Midoriya before, and what he'd say about the man's mental state, his psyche, how would they describe him? And T'Challa turns towards Izuku. Deku sitting there, as the man would express. Mr. Midoriya is certainly an intelligent man. Mental-wise, he'd say that he's definitely been through a lot. However, he would also say they all have been through a lot. Whenever people blipped away, it put a lot of strain on mental psyches. That cannot be, well, stated to be a part in this. However, what do you mean? From my understanding, Mr. Midoriya has done a lot. He's been through a lot of things, but yes, he's been standing. He's also been doing good. Mr. Midoriya has started his own company after the events of Ultron. He's also tried to help and make up for his own past mistakes. I believe that can also be stated. Magneto is somebody who expressed it earlier. He helps the mutants after Ultron wiped them out and tried to destroy their nation. He wiped out their city. I can also say this. It is clearly right for Magneto to be angry at him, yet he tried to defend the boy. That does mean a lot. But at the same time, you're expecting him to say something to provide help for you. You expect me to say something to provide help for you as well. I see your strategy. But sadly, I will say this. I'm looking up towards Aurora, and currently she does not sit there, holding her son. Not his, her own. And the man tells the courtroom, Mr. Midoriya is the most intelligent man in the world outside of Wakanda. That is what he would say. The argument can be made that the man is dangerous, but putting him behind bars would not do anything they can think of. He could list the ways Izuku can escape. And even then, that's just him alone. He has heroes on his side. There are people in this world who would target him, try and take the opportunity to destroy him. Though, he would not allow this. He is only taking actions he needs to in order for the defense of his family, people he cares about, and the world he does care for. He is somebody he could say is in perfect mental condition to do the job. Though Tony Stark, he was losing his mind. He was not mentally fit to do things. And the fact of the matter is, he tried to make an attempt on Wakanda for vibranium. He was a threat to his nation. He was an unwelcomed guest. He's just lucky he wasn't hunted down. That is what he has to say. He would have to say that Mr. Midoriya is innocent, because he took actions he would have taken himself, and he would not deem them to be making him guilty. Now, currently the judges, they do take everything into consideration, and this has definitely been quite the lengthy process. They call a number of individuals to the stand. I mean, they basically call in a number of superheroes, more than 2 dozen, and all of them have some things to say. Yes, everything going on, it's crazy right now. Yes, he helped them. Yes, a number of things have happened. This guy is good. He's trying to make up for sins that were not his own. Yet his own body was made to do. He has a very complicated relationship with a number of the people in his life. So yeah, the court, they have nothing to really say. Because after taking into consideration, this case needs to be dropped. There's too much saying that this man cannot be found guilty, even though they have him on camera committing the crime. It's just that simple. He did so in self-defense. So, they find him innocent. Now, Deku, he was on stand. Him turning his head and talking about a few things. Since right now, he would shake Matt Murdock's hand and express about what needs to happen. Currently, him going to turn to Captain America, asking if they have any leads on the Maker. Any leads that can help them at all. Not yet. Though, you know where the Reality Stone is, right? I do. Find it. But I think it's better hidden where it is. And where is it? I'm not saying that here. Listen, just leave it. Wait a second. Deku's going to look up. Currently him blasting him into the air and trying to think about what to do. Think about where the Maker could be. When he could be. If he has the Reality Stones, then how? Why? When? No, not the stones. Not the Reality Stone? Okay. Look at it from another point of view. If the Maker is Reed Richards, then this is definitely going to be a bit of a strange thing. That in Deku's mind. And the heroes, they do begin to scour the earth for this man. And the Maker, he does somewhat sit there. Him, with a lot of things, he does still need to plan out. A lot of things he wants to do. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, this episode, it was basically a fucking court case, run around. But that was the point. And honestly, I think this one's just a little funny. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed.